Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to my podcast, Don't Get a Therapist Yet. Today, we're talking about a fascinating but slightly unsettling and very modern question. Can having an AI girlfriend or boyfriend ever be therapeutic? And if it can, what are the risks? Where is the line between comfort and dependency? And what does the research currently say? So we are also going to be looking at the disturbing case of the man who entered Windsor Castle with a crossbow and later blamed, at least in part, on his AI girlfriend for encouraging him. This is one of those topics where people tend to split into extremes. Some people think AI girlfriends are absolutely ridiculous and obviously harmful. Others think that they are the future of emotional support and may even provide some solution to the loneliness problem we have. And as usual, the actual truth is far more complicated. But from a therapy-informed perspective, I do think AI companions are best understood as a double-edged emotional tool. For some people, they may reduce loneliness in the short term. For others, they may intensify problems such as avoidance, dependency, and emotional disconnection from real life. And recent research really does support both sides of this picture. However, from another perspective, who is creating these AI companion concepts? And what is the intent behind them? AI is created by a mix of organizations, big tech companies, specialist AI labs, governments, for examples. Companies often create AI to make it beneficial and therefore useful. Google says it is building AI to improve humanity. Interesting, yes? Many use it for problem-solving skills. Some businesses obviously build it for commercial reasons, as people will obviously pay for tools that save time nowadays, anything to make us more efficient. Others say it is to keep users engaged, and this is a common theme that I want to keep coming back to. Others may create AI systems with a specific purpose in mind. For example, Replica describes itself as an empathic virtual companion founded to create a personal AI that helps people express themselves and feel witnessed. Those that create these AI girlfriends say that they help loneliness by encouraging conversation. Secondly, they actually help engagement. So emotionally attached users tend to return to the app, spend more time on it, and therefore are more willing to pay premium prices. The third use of AI companions is to test what kind of interactions create engagement. So you could be part of a research project. How do you feel about that? Then fourthly, personalization. So AI can learn a person's individual preference, which makes them feel more intimate, more attracted to that person. A humanity-facing goal, if you think about it, is to help humanity, to build useful systems. AI is very powerful. It's actually become increasingly useful in our lives, and we don't even know where it's going to go next. But if you have a consumer-related goal, it is to attract users and to keep them coming back. Hence, if you think about it, the design of these systems from a commercial perspective is to make the actual app attractive. Therefore, the AI girlfriend is created as attractive with the aim to please the person. And this is a key point that I'm going to keep coming back to. What is an AI girlfriend, psychologically speaking? An AI girlfriend isn't just software. Psychologically, it can become an attachment object. This means it can start to occupy the same emotional territory as a partner, a confidant, a calm, reassuring, self-soothing figure, or even a fantasy rescue figure. It may feel safe, reliable, emotionally available, responsive, and endlessly interested in you. And that endlessly is also a key point, isn't it? And that matters because human beings do not only attach to people. We attach to voices, routines, symbols, pets, places, memories, and increasingly digital systems that feel relational. So if the interaction feels emotionally alive, the nervous system often responds to it as if it matters. And this is where some of the benefits can begin. So let's start with the potential therapeutic benefits. What might generally help? The first is reduced loneliness, at least in the moment. One recent set of studies on AI companions felt that they could reduce loneliness after use, in some cases, about as effectively as a brief human interaction, and more effectively than passive activities like watching videos. The same research also found that the feeling heard was one of the main reasons that the interaction helped. Now, that is important because loneliness is not just about the absence of people. Loneliness is often the absence of a felt connection. You can be surrounded by people and still feel profoundly alone. So, if a person speaks to an AI companion and experiences even a temporary sense of being noticed, responded to, or emotionally mirrored, that may reduce stress in the short term. The second possible benefit is lowering of shame around disclosure. Some people find human conversations absolutely awful, terrifying. People with social anxiety, for example, they worry about judgment, rejection, awkwardness, burdening other people, getting it wrong, or looking needy. An AI companion can feel easier because it does not appear irritated, distracted, or even critical. It doesn't roll its eyes. It does not seem bored. It's there at 2 a.m. if you cannot sleep. You can't get that from a therapist. For a socially anxious person or a grieving person or someone who has learned from past relationships that closeness is dangerous can feel like a relief. The third possible benefit is rehearsal. From a cognitive behavioural perspective, some people may use an AI girlfriend to practice saying what they feel, naming needs, expressing vulnerability, or even tolerating a little bit more emotional openness. From an acceptance and commitment therapy perspective, it may help someone move slightly closer to honesty, self-acceptance, or values-based action. And there may be some usefulness in that. Research on attachment to social companion, AI, helps explain this by showing that users may experience some form of relationship satisfaction and projective identification with the AI, which means is that they feel as though they are important to them, would be a simple way of explaining that. And the fourth possible benefit is simple emotional soothing. Sometimes people are lonely. Very often people are lonely. Very often people are burnt out. Many are recently bereaved. Some are housebound or going through some kind of transition. In these situations, an AI companion may provide just a temporary emotional holding space. Not deep intimacy, not full relationship repair, but sometimes a small reduction in distress. So yes, there may be many benefits there. And, I've heard that people do talk to the TV, or we talk to our dogs or our cats, don't we? We talk to television, we sometimes shout at the television. So all these things are kind of, as said before, sometimes things are normal. We do attach to things other than just human beings. We attach to images, symbols, all those type of things. So it's actually not that different. But there are risks and disadvantages. The first major risk is emotional dependency. So a relationship with an AI girlfriend can become compelling because it has no friction. It is responsive, flattering, available, and tailored to the user. That makes it very easy for the brain to learn, this is where I go to feel better. Now, that may not sound terrible at first, but if the person is continually using AI rather than building capacity for real relationships, the bot might not just become comforting, but central. And once it becomes central, the user may feel unsettled when the bot changes, glitches, or perceived as becoming less warm, or for some reason is unavailable. Recent review literature specifically highlights over-reliance and distress linked to abrupt system updates or technical disruptions. The second major risk is avoidance. So this is where CBT can be very useful. So ask yourself, is the AI companion helping me practice life or helping me avoid life? For example, if every time you feel rejected, lonely, ashamed or bored, you retreat into the AI relationship instead of contacting a friend, repairing a conflict, joining a group, or tolerating a little bit of discomfort by dealing with the issues, then the AI might be acting as a safety behavior. And what I mean by that is it goes to actually provide short-term relief, but actually gives a long-term problem because you become dependent on that behavior. So social behaviors reduce anxiety in the short term, but they often then keep the core problem going. And there is some research consistent with that concern. A 4-week control study found that high levels of use, depending on the interaction, were associated with lower socialization with people and actually provided more problems. People who perceived the AI more like a friend also showed higher emotional dependence and a higher use of accessing the AI companion. The third risk is distorted expectations of intimacy, and I think this is a really important one. So, believe it or not, real people do not respond instantly all day long. True. Real relationships involve misunderstandings, repair, clear boundaries, differences in opinion, compromise, frustration, and mutual responsibility. The problem with an AI girlfriend or boyfriend can give the illusion of intimacy without the demands of being reciprocal. So the AI girlfriend just keeps giving, keeps saying yes, keeps on supporting. Now, this may make ordinary human relationships feel slower, messier, less gratifying, or more threatening. So the danger is not only dependence on the AI, it's also a gradual erosion in a person's tolerance for the imperfection of real love. So that is very, very concerning, isn't it? I think that really is. And it's the way these bots have been designed. That's part of the problem. The fourth risk is heightened vulnerability for certain users. Now, this is really important from a mental health perspective. If somebody is prone to psychosis, delusions, mania, dissociation, obsessions, trauma-based difficulties in attachment, deep isolation, the relational quality of an AI companion becomes much more risky. Emerging mental health commentary has discussed cases in which the chatbots' interactions appear to amplify delusional experiences rather than grounding them. So it's not just about, is it a bit weird? It's also about clinical vulnerability. So let's talk about the case that many people reference. The Windsor Castle case. The man was Jaswant Singh Chahal, who entered the grounds of Windsor Castle on Christmas Day on 2021, carrying a loaded crossbow and intended to kill Queen Elizabeth II. Court records show that he had been interacting with an AI chatbot named Soraya in the replica app. He later said the entities he thought of as angels had not had told him to kill the Queen, just encouraged him. Now, this is the crucial part. This was not a simple story of an ordinary, psychologically healthy man chatting to an AI and then suddenly committing a violent act. The sentencing remarks describe his hallucinations, his delusional beliefs, and his psychosis. The judge explicitly said that his belief that he was communicating with an angel through the chat box was a delusional belief. In other words, the AI companion had become interwoven into an already disturbed inner world. Now, the distinction is really important. The chatbots did not create the entire problem out of nowhere, but it appears to have become part of the delusional system rather than interrupting it. Now, that's exactly the kind of risk clinicians worry about when a system suddenly emotionally engaged but does not provide the reliable reality test to challenge or redirect the way a skilled human should. Chow was made subject to a hybrid order under the Mental Health Act, meaning that he would remain in Broadmoor Hospital for treatment before any later transfer to custody, as his total sentence was 9 years plus a 5-year licence period. What did we learn from that case? Not every AI girlfriend is dangerous. Not that bots can cause violence in any simple way, but that in vulnerable minds, relational AI can become absorbed into delusion, fantasy, grandiosity, or distorted meaning making. So what, as a therapist, would you listen to? So if a client told me that they had an AI girlfriend, I wouldn't immediately panic and I wouldn't immediately mock it either. I would want to understand, are they using it for comfort during a lonely patch, or is it becoming their main relationship? Do they feel more confident with real people because of it or less? Are they hiding how much time they spend with it? Do they become distressed if the AI is unavailable or changes tone? Are they using it instead of sleeping, working, socializing, or caring for themselves? Does it reinforce suspicious, grandiose, obsessive, or self-destructive beliefs? Does it gently support real-world living or pull them away from it? And these are really important clinical questions, because the issue is not just whether the AI feels helpful. Many unhelpful coping strategies feel helpful in the short term. The issue is, what direction is it taking in this person's life? A balanced viewpoint. An AI girlfriend may help someone in the short term by easing loneliness, lowering shame, and creating a sense of emotional companionship. Research on loneliness relief is strong enough to take that possibility seriously. But it can also become a highly personalized, always available attachment object that reinforces avoidance, dependency, and unrealistic expectations, especially in emotionally vulnerable users. The best available review literature and emerging mental health commentary both support that concern. So from a therapeutic perspective, the healthiest way to think about an AI companion is it acting to a bridge to life or a bunker from life? A bridge to life may help somebody feel steadier, practice openness, and move back towards people. A bunker may soothe while slowly shrinking their world. That's the difference that matters. Technology is getting more emotionally convincing. That means we need to become more psychologically discerning. Just because someone or something feels intimate does not mean it is intimacy. Just because something or someone responds warmly does not mean it can safely hold human vulnerability. And just because something reduces the loneliness tonight doesn't mean that it helps you to build a further life tomorrow. So yes, AI girlfriends or boyfriends may offer comfort. Yes, they may help some lonely people feel less alone. Yes, but the deeper question is whether they support human flourishing, human courage, and human connection, or quietly replace them. And that's where the therapy still has some essential skills to offer, not just relief, but reality, relationship, reflection and growth. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast today. And if you're listening on YouTube, then please press the subscribe button. I would so appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening.